Hey there, I am back with another Free the Pip Friday where we look at some of the rarest decks around. And this week, we're going to my favorite designer, Giovanni Moroni of Thirdway Industries, for a look at Conquerors Justitia. Now, this is the fourth and rarest deck of the Conquerors line that was started back in 2019 with Conquerors Victoria and Audax. Now, he revived the series this year with the introduction of Conquerors Vendetta and followed that up with the gilded version of Conquerors Vendetta, Justitia. Features an entirely new tuck case and of course gilded cards. Really excited to check this one out because the tuck case really has some secrets hidden inside for those who choose to free the pip. So really fitting to open up on the series. Now this deck, like all of the Conquerors decks, were released on the Patreon for Thirdway Industries. If you haven't seen that, it's a monthly subscription service where you can not only support Giovanni and his artwork, but you can also get some rewards along the way. Every quarter, he'll send out a pack of decks, some beautiful work that goes into it, and increasingly, he's starting to do some of these decks that he's calling Eternal Edition decks. Those are basically decks that are, for all intents and purposes, exclusive to the Patreon. Now you can get them outside of Patreon, but it's usually at a much higher price and usually included like as part of bundles and things like that. But if you want to get the decks, the best way to do it is through the Patreon and some really beautiful work that he has planned on that. You can get access to the forum where you can get some insights into the decks and some of what he's creating. A really rewarding experience. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check out the Patreon for yourself. But we're here to check out Conquerors Justitia, so let's get right into it. Now this one features an all-new tuck case that was created by Gambler's Warehouse, and they did a beautiful job with this tuck case printed on a really nice ivory pearlescent stock. Pearlescent stock is basically that features that shimmer that you see there. Let me zoom in it so you can get a better look at it. But that kind of slight shimmery feel that you get to the tuck case, really luxurious feel to it overall, and that's just amped up by the addition of this super deep embossing and gold foil for all the details throughout. Nice bold lines throughout this, really thick lines on it. It has Conquerors Justitia, the name of the deck, and features the Roman goddess Justitia as the main focal point. Justitia was introduced by Emperor Augustus and is depicted to this day in statues or pictures outside of courthouses everywhere. Lady Justice is always depicted with a blindfold, symbolizing the fact that justice is blind, and she has her trademark scales of justice before her pictured on the spade hip in front of her. Really beautiful look to it, and that foiling and embossing just gives us a beautiful glow against that ivory tuck case. Turning the sides, you get Conquerors on one side of the tuck and on the other. Some ad copy for Thirdway Industries and Expert Playing Card Company who printed the deck. Top has some extra gold detailing, and you get a foiled and embossed version of the back design of the card. So look at the details in a second, but get a really good look at that nice deep embossing throughout. Finishes out with a foiled gold postage stamp style seal, features the Scales of Justice, and it's numbered out of a just 500 deck run. So one of the lowest counts of any of the Thirdway Industries decks. So I got number 380 here. That's the tuck case, but we're not through with the detailing on this one. Inner flap features another kind of look at the Scales of Justice there. You get some gems there on the smaller inner flaps. And the first surprise of this deck is the interior printing. You can get a peek there already of that red gilding on the deck. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's take a look at the interior foiling on the tuck case. It is really striking. Done in a bright red foil to contrast against that gold and white that we saw on the tuck case, on the exterior of the tuck case, and it features a look of Nemesis on the inside. That's the Roman goddess of vengeance. She was actually featured on the front of the tuck case for Conquerors Vendetta, but instead she's kind of symbolically on the inside here. So it's this look of like justice and nobility on the outside, and then vengeance on the inside, and kind of that darker red, blood red on the inside. Really love the look of it. You have the drops of blood all the way around her, the swords depicted on the inside, just lots of red foiling. Absolutely stunning surprise on the inside of the tuck case. I really just love it. You get the Roman phrase here. It says, "Flectere si nuceo superos acaronte muevo," Hopefully got some decent pronunciation on that, but that's a Latin phrase that comes from Virgil's Aeneid, and it translates to, "If I cannot bend the heavens, then I shall move the powers of hell." Really fitting quote, and one that kind of speaks to the lengths that some people may go to achieve justice. So there is the Tut case, absolutely fantastic. Exterior kind of has that Neck Plus Ultra vibe, if you've ever seen that deck, the gilded version of one of the decks from the Justitia series. But the addition of that bright red on the inside just takes that next level. So there's the Tut case. Great job on that. Now let's get to the cards. Now, of course, we already saw a peek of that brilliant red foil gilding on this one. Absolutely great color to it. I love the shine of it, the darkness that it takes on in certain lights, and the bright red in others. Really great look, and it pairs with the full foiled red back design of the cards as well. Great pairing, absolutely brilliant shine to them. Speaking of that back design, we saw this same back design. The rest of the cards from this point are going to be the same as Conquerors Vendetta. But it features this flood foiling technique that Expert uses to create just a brilliant shiny back design to the cards. Basically what they do is they print red foil on the entire card, and then the black printing that you see here is just an overprinting. What that means is it gives the entire card a brilliant shine, not just where the red parts are, but everything has this shine. Just a brilliant reflective shine. You can see it kind of almost mirroring everything in the background. But the detailing on this one is really nice as well. Big, bold design on this one, a lot thicker lines than you see on some of Giovanni's decks. Features that reflected design with the swords, and then kind of patterning and details all the way around, finishing with a thin red poker border. Brilliant look to it overall. I like the kind of simpler, cleaner feel compared to some of his designs. It's a nice contrast, and I think really well done and striking with that red foil back design. Now getting into the cards themselves. Like I said, these are the same card faces from Conquerors Vendetta, if you've seen that one, but they're all done on this black background, kind of fitting with that darker and more menacing theme to the deck overall. The Jokers depict the first couple of gods and goddesses. This is definitely a kind of mythology inspired deck. So the first Joker, the red Joker here, this is Nemesis. Saw her on the interior of the Tut case and on the Tut case of Conquerors Vendetta. She's the goddess of vengeance herself, with the sword slung over her back. That combination of gold, ink, and red really striking against that black background. And then the second one, this is Neptune, the god of the sea. He has kind of a vengeance-filled storyline. If you follow the story of the Justitia decks, also from Thirdway Industries, he features prominently there, and he's been illustrated on a lot of Giovanni's decks. This one kind of has more of almost a metallic blue instead of the red here. It's a nice contrast. Now, I like that blue quite a bit, because it has an ethereal feel to it overall. So there are your two Jokers. Getting into the cards themselves, start with the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades, obviously your power ace with the Conquerors Thirdway Industries there at the bottom, 2021 when the deck was printed. Features that large gold and black spade pip, and then the 5 red swords sprouting out of the top of it. Really strong, powerful look. That red banner against the black back of the cards, really striking. And then features kind of this gold colored pip and index in the corner. Nice, easily readable, pretty classic shape to the spade pip there. The other 3 aces are simpler, but still do have some custom elements on them. Each of them feature the large spade or the large pip in the center, and then a different weapon of some sort. So you have a large axe running through the diamond there. The club has a mace on there, and then a sword on the heart. On these, he has a little bit of a change for the pips in the corners. The red cards are kind of your classic red, and the black cards obviously wouldn't show up with a black pip against the black background, so he went with the kind of this gold color instead. So there's your 3 aces. The number cards are relatively simple. They feature the custom pips, but nothing too out of the ordinary on those. And then just has the addition of that gold frame to give it a little bit of an extra touch. But otherwise, nothing too special on the number cards. They're relatively simple. The red cards are that deep red color that we've seen on a couple other places on the deck. Love that combination with the black background. And then the classic black cards are done in this sort of light gold color, I'll call it. So there's your clubs, into your hearts with those elongated tips there. So, like the number cards, nothing too special on those. And then we get into the court cards. Now the court cards are all beautifully illustrated. They don't represent named characters in any way. Sometimes they'll have like full stories running through the court cards, but there is some kind of symbolism and themes that run through the court cards. Really beautifully done in these sort of two-way designs. Has very much that classic feel of a Giovanni style court. And they all, like I said, have a theme running through them. So the spades here represent strategy. These are kind of the more cunning aspect of Conquerors, and all of them are going to feature a blade and shield. So you can see that poleaxe with the shield there on the Jack of Spades, or the dagger kind of symbolizing cunning that the Queen's holding there, and then the bloody sword for the King of Spades. So these kind of have a little bit more blue and gold on them, little pops of red like on the blood of the sword on the King of Spades. Whereas when you get to the red cards, that blue is replaced with the striking red. Definitely like this color scheme a good bit better. I think they both look good, but the red just has so much pop to it. The diamonds here are all wielding axes. You can see that axe there, for example, in the hand of the Jack of Diamonds. And these represent hate. So a much more negative emotion. You can kind of see that cold look in all of their eyes as they're meant to sort of depict hate in some way. So another emotion that can drive vengeance for us. All right, then going to the clubs. These all kind of have blunt force weapons. So you have the mace in the hand of the Jack of Clubs, this barbed club that the Queen of Clubs is holding, and the hammer or the mallet in the hand of the King of Clubs. And the clubs represent brute force, very fitting for their weapons. And love the sort of determined and stoic look on all of their faces. And finally, we close with the hearts, and the hearts represent fury and sacrifice, and all of them have swords of some sort. And sacrifice definitely depicted in this. Usually only the King of Hearts is done in that suicide pose, but for this one, all three of the heart courts have that classic suicide pose, representing their willingness to sacrifice as part of achieving vengeance. So there's the three hearts. And that is the deck. Beautifully designed, and love the addition of the gilding. As far as handling on these, they handle pretty well actually for a fully foiled and gilded deck. That gilding definitely leaves a little bit to desire, to be desired in terms of, it does stick a little bit when you use it in fans, but not too bad at all considering that it's a foiled and gilded deck. Certainly a little bit of a thicker feel to them. If you're using this in like dribbles or springs or just riffle shuffles of some sort, it's going to be a little bit stiffer of a feel to them. But all in all, not bad handling considering the technique that was used on these for the printing overall. So not too bad, can't complain too much. And that is the deck. Hope you enjoyed this look at Conquerors Justitia. Definitely go check out the Patreon if you want to see this deck and more like it. I absolutely recommend it. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed getting a chance to check this deck out. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.